Hi everyone, I hope you had a good spring break. This class is American Literature, so if you're not in American Literature, please go to one of the other classes. I am going to be reading you A Raisin in the Sun. I would like you to follow along if you can. If you just end up listening to this, that's fine too, but really it's better if you can follow along on the online reading that I posted. And so, usually at the beginning of this book, the Langston Hughes poem Harlem is is in there before the play starts. And so I'm going to read you that from my computer, which I can read from here. So, okay, Harlem by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore, and then run? Does it sink? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? Okay, so that's the poem by Langston Hughes, and the title, A Raisin in the Sun, comes from the third line of that poem. So it's really important for you to know that. Okay, and now we are... Okay, I'm going to read you this first bit that goes through all of the acts. The action of the play is set in Chicago's South Side sometime between World War II and the present. So obviously that's not our present. This is going to be anywhere from around the 1930s to maybe like right before the 60s, so to late 1950s at the very latest, which is obviously not present anymore. Okay, Act 1. Scene 1, Friday morning. Scene 2, the following morning. Act 2. Scene 1, later the same day. Scene 2, Friday night a few weeks later. Scene 3, moving day 1 week later. Act 3, an hour later. So this play covers about a month, and I think that's important to know. Okay, Act 1, Scene 1. The younger living room would be a comfortable and well-ordered room if it were not for a number of indestructible contradictions to the state of being. So basically that means the furniture is not comfortable. It's old. The younger is the last name of the family. And yeah, so it's not a comfortable living space. Its furnishings are typical and undistinguishable, and their primary feature now is that they have clearly had to accommodate the living of too many people for too many years, and they are tired. Still, we can see that at some time, a time probably no longer remembered by the family, except perhaps for Mama, the furnishings of this room were actually selected with care and love and even hope, and brought to this apartment and arranged with taste and pride. So the furniture is old. It's described as tired. You can also assume, based on this, like for plays, anything on stage will reflect the characters. So if the furniture looks tired, the characters are tired. Anything that's on the set, you have to think about how it reflects the characters on stage, and how it makes you feel is how you're supposed to feel about the characters. It's like symbolism and metaphor and all those things that you get in a short story. You get that in plays through the set, if that makes sense. Okay. That was a long time ago. Now the once loved pattern of the couch upholstery has to fight to show itself from under acres of crocheted doilies and couch covers, which have themselves finally come to be more important than the upholstery. And here a table or a chair has been moved to disguise the worn places in the carpet, but the carpet has fought back by showing its weariness with depressing uniformity elsewhere on its surface. So the carpet is still old. It still looks old, even though they've tried to cover the worst places where the carpet looks bad. Same with the furniture. Like upholstery would be like the original fabric on the couch. That's all been covered up now because the couch is so old. Weariness has, in fact, won in this room. Everything has been polished, washed, sat on, used, scrubbed too often. All pretenses but living itself have long since vanished from the very atmosphere of this room. So basically, people are just living. They aren't, or maybe surviving would be a better word. They're surviving, they're not living. They're just getting by with barely enough. Moreover, a section of this room, for it is not really a room unto itself, though the landlord's lease would make it seem so, slopes backwards to provide a small kitchen area where the family prepares the meals that are eaten in the living room proper, which must also serve as dining room. The single window that has been provided for these two rooms is located in this kitchen area. The sole natural light the family may enjoy in the course of a day is only that which fights its way through this little window. So they don't have that much light. Their kitchen and their dining area, the landlord has decided that it's 2 rooms, but it's really only just one. My kitchen's actually kind of like that. At some point, I am going to give you a tour of my apartment because I actually think that it's around the same size and it's around the same shape as this family's apartment, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure my apartment was built in like the 50s, which is probably why it's very similar in a lot of ways. But I think it'll be helpful for you to visualize the place when I give you a tour of my apartment. Okay. At left, a door leads to a bedroom which is shared by Mama and her daughter Benitha. At right opposite is a second room, which in the beginning of life of this apartment was probably a breakfast room, which serves as a bedroom for Walter and his wife Ruth. Okay, so Mama shares a room with Benitha, and then Walter and Ruth share a room that was not meant to be a bedroom but has become a bedroom. Okay, time. Sometime between World War II and the late 1950s. Place, Chicago's South Side. At Rise, it is morning dark in the living room. Travis is asleep on the make-down bed at center. So Travis, there's 5 people living in this teeny apartment. Travis doesn't have his own room. He's sleeping on the couch in the living room. An alarm clock sounds from within the bedroom at right, and presently Ruth enters from that room and closes the door behind her. She crosses sleepily towards the window. As she passes her sleeping son, she reaches down and shakes him a little. At the window, she raises the shade, and a dusky south side morning light comes in feebly. She fills a pot with water and puts it on to boil. She calls to the boy between yawns in a slightly muffled voice. Ruth is about 30. We can see that she was a pretty girl, even exceptionally so, but now it is apparent that life has been little that she expected, and disappointment has already begun to hang in her face. So she looks older than she actually is. In a few years, before 35 even, she will be known among her people as a settled woman. And a settled woman is a woman who has lost all her dreams, so kind of depressing and sad. She crosses to her son and gives him a good, final, rousing shake. Ruth, come on now, boy, it's 7:30. Her son sits up at last in a stupor of sleepiness. I said, hurry up, Travis. You ain't the only person in the world got to use a bathroom. The child, a sturdy, handsome little boy of 10 or 11, drags himself out of the bed and almost blindly takes his towels and today's clothes from drawers in a closet and goes out to the bathroom, which is in an outside hall and which is shared by another families on the same floor. Ruth crosses to the bedroom door at right and opens it and calls in to her husband. Walter Lee, it's after 7:30. Let me see you do some waking up in there now. She waits. You better get up from there, man. It's after 7:30, I tell you. She waits again. All right, you just go ahead and lay there, and next thing you know, Travis be finished, and Mr. Johnson will be in there, and you'll be fussing and cussing around here like a madman. So he'd be yelling that he couldn't get into the bathroom. And be late, too. She waits at the end of patience. Walter Lee, it's time for you to get up. She waits another second and then starts to go into the bedroom, but is apparently satisfied that her husband has begun to get up. She stops, pulls the door to, and returns to the kitchen area. She wipes her face with a moist cloth and runs her fingers through her sleek, disheveled hair in a vain effort and ties an apron around her housecoat. The bedroom door at right opens and her husband stands in the doorway in his pajamas, which are rumpled and mismated. He is a lean, intense young man in his middle 30s, inclined to quick, nervous movements and erratic speech habits, and always in his voice there's a quality of indictment. Walter, is he out yet? Ruth, what do you mean out? He ain't hardly got in there good yet. Walter, wandering in, still more oriented to sleep than to a new day. Well, what was you doing all that yelling for if I can't even get in there yet? Stopping and thinking. Check coming today? So he's referring to the insurance money. Ruth, they said Saturday, and this is just Friday, and I hopes to God you ain't going to get up here first thing this morning and start talking to me about no money, because I about don't want to hear it. So that shows that they have money problems. Walter, something the matter with you this morning? Ruth, no, I'm just sleepy as the devil. What kind of eggs you want? Walter, not scrambled. Ruth starts to scramble eggs. Paper come? Ruth points impatiently to the rolled-up Tribune on the table, and he gets it and spreads it out and vaguely reads the front page. Set off another bomb yesterday. And so that's referring to the U.S. dropping another atomic bomb on Japan. Ruth, maximum indifference, meaning she's pretending to care. Did they? Walter, looking up, what's the matter with you? Ruth, ain't nothing the matter with me, and don't keep asking me that this morning. Ruth. Oh, Walter. Ain't nobody bothering me. Reading the news of the day absently again. Say, Colonel McCormick is sick. Ruth, affecting Tea Party interests, so again pretending to care. Is he now? Poor thing. Walter, sighing and looking at his watch. Oh me. He waits. Now, what is that boy doing in the bathroom all this time? He just going to have to start getting up earlier. I can't be being late to work on account of him fooling around in there. Ruth, turning on him. Oh no, he ain't going to be getting up no earlier, no such thing. It ain't his fault that he can't go to bed no earlier nights 'cause he got a bunch of crazy good-for-nothing clowns sitting up running their mouths in what is supposed to be his bedroom after 10 o'clock at night. And so Ruth is referring to Walter's friends who come over and talk late into the night. Walter, that's what you mad at, ain't it? The things I want to talk about with my friends just couldn't be important in your mind, could they? He rises and finds a cigarette in her handbag on the table and crosses to the little window and looks out, smoking and deeply enjoying this first one. Ruth, almost matter-of-factly, a complaint too automatic to deserve emphasis. So she says this next thing with no emotion because she has said it too often. Why you always gotta smoke before you eat in the morning? Walter, at the window. Just look at him down there, running and racing to work. He turns and faces his wife and watches her a moment at the stove, and then suddenly, you look young this morning, baby. Ruth, indifferently. Yeah. Walter, just for a second, stirring them eggs, just for a second it was, you looked real young again. He reaches for her, she crosses away. Then, dryly, it's gone now. You look like yourself again. Ruth, man, if you don't shut up and leave me alone. Walter, look out to the street again. First thing a man ought to learn in life is to not to make love to no colored woman first thing in the morning. You all some evil people at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it seems like he wants to have sex with his wife, and she's not having it because she's stressed out with money troubles, and she just wants nothing to do with him at this moment in time. Another important thing to look at is the play refers to them as her as a colored woman. That is racist now. It was something that people said like back in this time when this play was written and in this time period, but now you say people of color, not colored people, because people of color are people before their race and skin color. But it's also important to know their race in this story. It's important to know that this is a Black family and that they're struggling to get by and that they're struggling to basically live and fulfill the American dream, because that's really what everyone's after in this story. And that's what Langston Hughes' poem refers to. What happens to a dream deferred? What happens to a dream that doesn't come true? Does it dry up? Does it explode? So that's an important connection with this piece. Maybe I'll read one or two more pages and then I'll stop for the day. Travis appears in the hall doorway, almost fully dressed and quite wide awake now, his towels and pajamas across his shoulders. He opens the door and signals for his father to make the bathroom in a hurry. So he told his father, get into the bathroom now, before Mr. Johnson gets in there. Travis, watching the bathroom. Daddy, come on. Walter gets his bathroom utensils and flies out to the bathroom. Ruth, sit down and have your breakfast, Travis. Travis, Mama, this is Friday. Gleefully. Check coming tomorrow, huh? So even Travis is worried about the money. Ruth, you get your mind off money and eat your breakfast. Travis, eating. This is the morning we're supposed to bring the 50 cents to school. Ruth, well, I ain't got 50 cents this morning. Travis, teachers say we have to. Ruth, I don't care what teachers say. I ain't got it. Eat your breakfast, Travis. Travis, I am eating. Ruth, hush up now and just eat. The boy gives her an exasperated look for her lack of understanding and eats grudgingly. Travis, you think Grandma would have it? Ruth, no, and I want you to stop asking your grandmother for money, you hear me? Travis, outraged. Golly, I don't ask her, she just give me it sometimes. Ruth, Travis Willard Younger, I got too much on me this morning to be, Travis, maybe Daddy? Ruth, Travis. The boy hushes abruptly. They are both quiet and tense for several seconds. Travis, presently. Could I maybe go carry some groceries in front of the supermarket for a little while after school then? Ruth, just hush, I said. Travis jabs his spoon into his cereal bowl viciously and rests his head in anger upon his fists. If you through eating, you can get over there and make up your bed. The boy obeys stiffly and crosses the room, almost mechanically, to the bed and more or less folds the bedding into a heap, then angrily gets his books and cap. Travis, sulking and standing apart from her unnaturally. I'm gone. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop for today. I'm going to have a worksheet for you to do, mostly just thinking about personal responses and things like that to the book so far. Really, I'm just trying to get as many people in the classroom this week as possible, so we're going to go a little bit slower this week. If you have not written your papers about the things they carried from last quarter, please write them this week. I will give you credit for them. I'm regrading a whole bunch of them because I gave people feedback. So please write your papers. I only got 15. I only got 15 from all of the classes. So please write them. And that will help your grade a lot for quarter three, if you had me for quarter three. Obviously, if you didn't have me for quarter three, then you don't have to do that. But please use this time to write your papers. All right, I will see you soon. Remember, I have office hours on Zoom, and so please take advantage of that. All right, I will see you guys later. Bye.